everybody? Welcome to another episode of Orange Grow 55. And in this video, we're going to do a Q&A. Okay, now this is going to be split up into two parts. Today will be part one. Tomorrow, I'll actually be answering some of your questions with Disney Family Man 23. So if your question was not answered in this particular video, it might be in the next video tomorrow. So now I do want to say, if you do want to submit a question for a future Q&A video, comment in this video, comment below with any questions, and I might answer it in a future Q&A video. All right, so let's dive right in. We got some really great questions. So let's dive right in here. And Grant J writes, now that Galaxy's Edge and Avengers Campus are finally there, plus Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway on the way, what do you think is the next big attraction and or hotel coming to the Disneyland Resort? Well, Grant, thank you so much for this question. I do appreciate it. What do I think is next? Well, look, the big elephant in the room is that big Avengers e-ticket attraction, right? And we were supposed to get that with the opening of Avengers Campus. Unfortunately, we did not. But look, the research and development, the R&D have already been done for that. A lot of the legwork for that e-ticket has already been completed. So on top of that, it's Disney's biggest franchise, Marvel, okay? And they're going to get the biggest return in Chapek speak, right? In investor speak, they're going to get the biggest return on that if they follow through with that Avengers e-ticket. So I really do believe that after Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway, the next big thing will be that Avengers e-ticket. I really do. And then a few years after that, we'll start to get into like the Disneyland Forward stuff, which might include like what you mentioned, hotels, expansions into like, you know, other areas of the resort. But that's like 5 years or more off. I think right now, after Runaway Railway, I think the next big thing will be that e-ticket. It's just like financially, it's kind of like the sure thing for Disney. They're obsessed with IP. It's their biggest IP. They got the land already squared away for it. They got the R&D already done for it. They just got to start it. So yeah, definitely Avengers e-ticket. And then maybe a few years after that, we're going to dive into that Disneyland Forward stuff because yes, it will get approved. I am very confident in that. Grant J, thank you so much, brother, for this question. That was a fantastic question. And the next question. All right, comes from Aaliyah. And Aaliyah writes, what do you think / feel / believe the dynamics are between the board, Iger, and Chapek? Aaliyah, first of all, I want to thank you so much for your support for this channel. You're amazing. Thank you so much for all your support. You know, I really do appreciate it. And thank you for this great question. This is a great question. Okay. And honestly, Aaliyah, my thoughts on this kind of fluctuate because this is kind of a fluid situation. And sometimes I feel like Chapek is really on the ropes and he's going to get voted out and it's going to be like, you know, he's going to end up leaving the company very soon. And sometimes I kind of feel like, well, not so much. So here's kind of where I stand right now. And just to keep in mind, this may change because again, this situation is kind of fluid and it is kind of tied very much so to the ScarJo lawsuit, in my opinion. But as of right now, this is kind of my mindset. Bob Chapek is a very smart executive. I know a lot of people say Chapek is stupid. He doesn't get it and all that stuff. Okay, fine. But the fact of the matter is Bob Chapek has been with Disney for 30 years. Okay. You don't rise through the ranks of a company like Disney for 30 years being a moron. He has over those 30 years has kind of learned how to play ball. Right? How to keep his head down and kind of do what needs to be done to rise the ranks. Here's the thing. Bob Iger is still chairman. Okay. And there's still the board who absolutely loves Bob Iger. In my opinion, I think it would be kind of hard to believe that Bob Chapek would do anything to infuriate Bob Iger and Kevin Feige, right? Knowing that Bob Iger and the board could vote him out up until Bob Iger leaves in December, could vote him out like that. In one Thanos snap, they could vote him off and send him packing. So I don't know. I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't think Bob Chapek is a stupid guy. I mean, you know, he's been with the company for 30 years. And I think for him to be playing kind of this game, like all the trades, all the Hollywood trades and the media are saying, oh, well, yeah, Bob Iger and Bob Chapek, they're fighting like crazy and they don't even talk anymore. I don't really believe that. I'll be quite honest with you, because I think if that, I just don't think Bob Chapek is that stupid. You know, like I really do. Like he knows that would be the end of his reign as CEO, because all it would take is Bob Iger to go to the board and say, hey, let's vote this guy out. He's not working. So I think the decisions that are being made are approved by Bob Iger for the most part. I think all these executives are going to disagree on some level. But I think that the level of animosity and tension between these two men is greatly exaggerated in the Hollywood trades. I really do believe that. Because look, I also believe Bob Iger has the best interest of the company at heart. He made it very clear when he started this transitional period way back in 2012 that he wanted a smooth transition, right? He made that very, very clear. And I just feel like Iger knows that this is very much tied to his legacy. And I just feel like if he felt in any way that Bob Chapek was taking the company in a direction that was going to destroy his legacy and really destroy the company, I just don't think he would sit around and just wait it out like he is. So I do believe that the relationship between these two men is better than what we're hearing. I think Bob Iger is more on board with these Chapek decisions than what we're hearing. But keep in mind, this is, like I said in the beginning of this question, a very fluid situation. Things can change drastically. My opinion on this has really ebbed and flowed. Okay, because it's a weird situation. But as of right now, I do believe that the relationship between Iger, Chapek, and the board is pretty good. I think that Chapek over 30 years has proved that he can keep his head down and kind of play ball. I don't think that he would just be so reckless in kind of pissing Iger off and risking getting voted out prior to December. I just don't think that would happen. I really, really don't. So as of right now, I think that the relationship is okay. I think it's decent. And I think he's going to survive this. I really, really do. I think Chapek will, as of right now, survive this. Now, something big, huge might come up in a week or 2 weeks or in 2 months. Who knows? But as of right now, I think it's okay. I think that there's just a lot of growing pains in Hollywood. It's causing a lot of animosity in general. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing right now. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But Aaliyah, thank you so much for the question. And again, thank you so much for your support. I really, really do appreciate it. All right. So let's get on to our next and final question by my good friend, Oakview Films. And Oakview Films writes, related to streaming, but do you prefer shows to have 24 episode seasons with typical budgeted episodes, or 6 to 8 episode seasons with higher budgets, like what we see with shows such as Mandalorian, Stranger Things, and the numerous MCU shows? Now, Oakview, buddy, thank you so much. First of all, like Aaliyah, I want to thank you for your support. You've been with me since day one, buddy, and I do appreciate it. Thank you, Oakview. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for this great question. I don't really have unfortunately, Oakview, I don't really have a definitive answer on this. I'm going to have to kind of do a cop out almost. And I feel bad, but it's just how I feel. It kind of depends on the show, and it kind of depends on the franchise. Like, for example, I just finished binge watching all of White Collar. I don't know if you guys have seen White Collar. It was on USA for a while. Right now, I think it's on Hulu. Fantastic show. I binged the entire series. It's phenomenal. But each season in White Collar is roughly what he's talking about here, like 20 to 24 episodes. They're pretty long, okay? Now, that's just it's a detective show. It's an FBI crime drama show. So for something like that, you don't need a massive budget. So for White Collar, that 24 episode season, lower budget works for a show like White Collar, okay? You don't need a Game of Thrones budget for that, right? So this works for that. However, when it comes to Star Wars, right? When it comes to the MCU, There's a certain level of quality that as fans we come to expect, and there's a lot more special effects involved in something like Star Wars or the MCU. Okay, so for something like Star Wars, like say for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show or for Mandalorian, there's going to be a lot more special effects. So it's gonna require a bigger budget than something like White Collar would. So for those kind of shows, for my Star Wars, for my MCU, and things like that are really special effects heavy, I want to see those smaller seasons, 6 to 8 episodes, bigger budget, better quality special effects. I think it fits those franchises much, much better. I wouldn't want to see like, a Obi-Wan Kenobi show with 24 episodes and really crappy special effects. Like, I don't want to see that. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. I'd much rather have a smaller season and have it be almost like kind of like the movies, right? In series form. I don't want to see much difference in quality or any difference in quality between the show and the films. Same with the MCU. So, like I said in the beginning, it just depends on what we're talking here. If we're talking FBI crime shows, we're talking stuff like that, I don't mind the lower budgets with the bigger episode count because I think it fits that kind of show better. But if you're talking Star Wars, like even like what you said here, Stranger Things, the MCU, things that are really, really dependent on like a lot of special effects, you got to go with the shorter episode seasons and the bigger budgets. You absolutely have to. So that's kind of how I feel. And I'm sorry, I couldn't give you like a definitive answer, but for me, it really does depend. It really does depend on what kind of show it is. So, I mean, if you're making a cop show, there's no need for that to have a Game of Thrones budget. It's pointless, So you really don't need that. You can have 24 episodes and have a lower budget than you could like something like Mandalorian. So that's where I stand. And honestly, I just heard today, Oakview, that actually the Kenobi series actually ended up wrapping filming. So this thing is happening. This is a done deal, my friend. So Kenobi is coming, and I am so beyond the moon hyped. So like on a side note, that's going to be really dope. I cannot wait for Kenobi. But thank you, Ofu. I really do appreciate the question. And thank you all for watching. This is the part 1 of this 2-day Q&A video. And tomorrow, like I said, I will be doing a video with Disney Family Man 23 to answer more questions. So we're going to dive into a lot more tomorrow. But I want to thank everyone who submitted their questions, and I want to thank you all for watching. Like I said before, if you have a question for a future Q&A or you want to comment on the questions that we talked about today, feel free to do so in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.